In this video, we are going to talk about TestRail. TestRail is a popular test case management tool. You can also integrate it with Jira and use both solutions together to have a solid test process. Let's start. What is TestRail? TestRail provides all the features to write the test cases as per your convenience by selecting milestones, test runs, test cases, and reports. The best thing is that it provides the Jira integration, so we can directly assign the bugs in Jira through TestRail. Let's sign up for TestRail free trial. With the free trial, you will have enough time to discover the TestRail and learn the basics. Now please open any browser and Google TestRail. It's quite useful tool, and personally I use this tool in multiple companies. It's important to know how it works and at least have a basic knowledge. So let's start our free trial. Click Try TestRail. Here we will need to fill the form. After you fill the form, please click Create TestRail Trial. Now we need to confirm our email. Please direct to Gmail and click on the verification mail. As you can see, I received mail from Guruk team. So click Confirm Trial Registration. And we need to wait a couple of seconds here until they set our account. So here we need to write our full name. So this is the TestRail dashboard. It will help to create your first project. Let's follow the instructions and create our first project together. We click Add Project. We should define project name and announcement if we need. You can post an announcement to the project overview page. This could include links to the project's issue tracker or knowledge base, for example. So I use a single repository for all the cases, which has a simple view and it's easier to understand. So project name is Software Testing Masterclass. So after, click Add Project. Now you see we create a project. The second step is adding test cases to our project. So if we hover here, you can see how we can add test cases. So for that, from the top bar, we need to go Test Cases section. Here you can see there are two options, Add Section and Add Test Cases. You can create multiple sections and put multiple test cases into the sections. It will be easier to understand for you and other testers and perform testing much efficiently. For example, imagine if you are testing a banking website, you can create a section, money transfer, and another section, user login. So you can put the user login test cases in the correct section. And when you run user login test cases, when you finish, which means your section is also done. So let's create a section first. So our first section is user login. Let's add one more. Here you can see on the right bar, we have the Add Section button. Our second section is money transfer. Let's add one more. Our third section is bank account creation. So we have now three sections listed under test cases. From here, we can add case or we can add subsections. Let's add some test cases for login scenario. First test case is user can log in with correct credentials. You can see we can continue adding test case titles, and afterward we can define the description and steps for these test cases. So let's write one more test case. So this one is a negative case. User cannot log in with incorrect credentials. If we click on this button, we can see everything about our test case. Currently, there is no additional details. So if you click Edit button, we can start writing our test case details. Here you see the section, template. It can be different template. Types. If you are creating test case for regression run, you can choose regression. Or we can just leave it as functional testing. Priority, Let's say hi. Estimate is a time estimation. You don't have to fill it. But if your company is using time estimation, you will need to put a value here. Depends of testing time. We can add reference here, which will lead you to the Jira. And there is automation type. It is an integration to another tool, but currently we don't need to use it. So let's start writing our first test cases. Preconditions is create a user and have a correct user credentials before you start. Because this case is a login case, we should already have a user data, which we will use for this case. So afterwards, you can see steps and expected result field. Here, under that, we can type steps. Also, if you check the right side, you can add a table. You can insert pictures. If you click the question mark, it will open the TestRail user guide. If you don't know how to use TestRail, actually it's still a good place to learn it. You can go through this guide and learn more about TestRail. So now let's add steps. Our steps are open the website, type correct credentials into login text box, and click enter button. And our expected result will be user can log into portal successfully. Now save test case. Here, as you see, now we have test case details. Later, if you want to edit it, you can always click edit button and change whatever you want. If you want to delete this case, you can click delete button and click OK. Let's create some test cases also for money transfer and bank account creation sections. As you see, I create a couple of test cases. When you work in a bigger projects, you will have maybe hundreds of test cases listed under one section. TestRail really helps you to structure your work and report it your leads and managers very easily. Anyone who has access can just log into portal and can see the progress of your testing. I will add a couple of cases for the last section. Let's also add a subsection. Our subsection name is foreign currency accounts. And test cases are user can open a TRY account. User can open an USD account. If we check to the right bar, you can see all our sections and subsections together. User login, money transfer, bank account creation, and subsection appears under the bank account creation. So we created our test cases. The next step is start a run. If you hover it, you can see how we can start test run. On the top menu bar, we need to click test runs and results. And currently this project doesn't have any test runs. Please click add test run. You can see the fields: name, milestone, assigned to, description, include all test cases, and select specific test cases. If you want, you can create a test run which will have all the test cases which we wrote previously. Or if you have a less time for testing, you can select a couple of them which has higher risk in your project. So let's fill the test run details. So this is a test run for online banking application, and we will run all the test cases. After that, click add test run. Now, as you see, our test run is ready. All our test cases appears under the list. And they are all assigned to me because I am the only one who is in the project. And their status is untested. If you click here, you can see it has passed, blocked, retest, and failed status. After you will test it successfully, you can pass it, or if it's blocked by any reason, you can block. If it's failed, you should choose failed, and afterwards, when the fix is ready, you can assign the status as retest. Currently our pass rate is 0. We have 9 test cases and 9 untested here. So let's start testing. Imagine we test the first one and it's successful. So if you want to change the status, click here and set this as passed. Afterward, it will ask you to add some comments. And if you want, you can also add defects and some other information. You can also add charts and screenshots to prove that it was really passed. My comment is tested on acceptance environment. We learned the different environments in the previous section. It's important to comment with some useful information. For example, now I mentioned the environment which I used for testing. Later on, when we'll go through them, we will know on which environment we verified this test case. So now, please click Add Result. As you see, our first test case is successful, and our pass rate is now 11%. You can also select multiple of them. Click here, Add Result, and you can set status as passed altogether. But don't worry, you can change anytime the status. For example, this one, let's say it's failed. A new bug appeared. So now we have a chart which shows the fail rate and the percentage. So we complete our test run. The next is invite user section. So for that, we should go to administrator and invite a new user. So now, as you see, I invited a new user, test user 2, under my project. After this user accepts the invitation, I can start assigning test cases to this user. I can also select the status here, active, inactive, and the role can be read-only, tester, designer, and lead. Let's see the last step, setup integration. So as I mentioned before, you can integrate TestRail with your Jira, create a better testing experience, and have an efficient testing flow. So for that, we should choose integration and click configure Jira integration. Here I will use my Jira credentials which I created in the previous videos. After that, click enable Jira integration. That's it. We learned the basics of TestRail. During your free trial, please practice more and try to create multiple projects, multiple test cases, and test runs. Now you can mention TestRail tool in your resume. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.